following program is intended for mature audiences.
I'm going to be honest with you, bro.
I'm going to beat up John Cena.
Oh, it's a great idea.
So who the hell do you think you are?
I was going to dress up like Brutus the Barber Beefcake, cutting and strutting, and then I was going to beat up John Cena. Wonderful. I mean, come on. What's more fun than beating up John Cena?
Suplex City, bitch.
Beat up John Cena!
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
And welcome, everyone, once again to the Weekly Suplex. I am Brian Thomas, joined tonight, as always, by Juicy Springsteen. Juice, how you doing today?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing fairly well. Spent a long day working on cleaning stuff up in my house, in my garage, so that was fun. But I am ready now to talk a little bit of wrestling. And we've got a little bit. We've got a show tonight for you. As promised last week, we will get into the Hulk Hogan question, which is, should Hulk Hogan be welcomed back into the WWE? Yes or no? So we'll talk about that. And then also, we are going to talk about, as we mentioned, there's always something that breaks in the week. And this week, it was Smackdown. It appears that Fox is looking to bring Smackdown to their broadcast channel in 2019, and they are willing to pay a ton of money for it. So we'll talk about that. That's interesting as well, especially after the last week and learning about the Raw deal with USA. To hear Smackdown pretty much pulling in very significantly close money as Raw did is amazing to me.
Yeah, we talked about it last week, and although it has not been officially announced, all signs are pointing that SmackDown will go to the flagship broadcast network of Fox, and it's going to be quite the interesting move if and when it actually happens. Can't wait.
It is definitely going to be interesting, so we'll talk about that as well. But first, we're going to recap our two shows this week, Raw and SmackDown. Juice, why don't you go ahead and recap what happened on Raw?
We had Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins defeat Kevin Owens and Jinder Mahal. We had the awful Sami Zayn, Bobby Lashley segment. No comments. Alexa Bliss lost to Ember Moon. Baron Corbin defeated No Way Jose. The B team now 2-0, this time defeating Breezango. Nia Jax and Ronda Rousey had their contract signing. Stephanie McMahon was there for that. Chad Gable lost to Dolph Ziggler. Natalya defeated Dana Brooke, Liv Morgan, and Sarah Logan to qualify for the Money in the Bank. Bobby Roode was not victorious or glorious against Elias, and Braun Strowman defeated Finn Balor in the main event.
Yeah, and that, let's see, our Money in the Bank men's match hasn't changed this week. There were no qualifying matches for that. Yep. But the women's match had Natalya added to it, so as that stands, we have Alexa Bliss, Ember Moon, Charlotte Flair, and Natalya now currently involved after Raw. On the SmackDown side of things, we started off with Miz TV and the New Day, who are supposed to announce who the member of the New Day would be entering the Money in the Bank match because they defeated the Bar last week to earn that right. Of course, it was just a silly segment that happened and nothing even got resolved. Instead, we got a match with The Miz defeating Big E to start off the show. Lana with an upset over Billie Kay to qualify for Money in the Bank. That was impressive. Andrade Cien Almas defeated another no-name jobber, which was hilarious because they had just had a promo of Vega saying how embarrassing it was that they gave that kind of competition to Almas, and then he gets another one. So that was remarkable. Nakamura and Styles had their little one-on-one here to determine what the stipulation of the match would be, and in the end it ends up being a last man standing match. Gallows and Anderson defeat the Usos and earn a shot at the tag titles at Money in the Bank. That was pretty impressive. Naomi defeats Sonya Deville to qualify for Money in the Bank. And the main event, Daniel Bryan defeated Jeff Hardy to earn the right to take on Samoa Joe next week. Winner goes to Money in the Bank and the ladder match. So, after SmackDown, the men's match now includes Kevin Owens, Bobby Roode, Braun Strowman, The Miz, Rusev, and potentially Daniel Bryan or Samoa Joe. We'll find out next week. And the women's match is now Alexa Bliss, Ember Moon, Charlotte Flair, Natalya, Lana, and Naomi. So they're shaping up. We still got, 3 weeks before Money in the Bank officially goes down. Overall thoughts on Raw and SmackDown?
I thought they were okay this week. Again, we've got a lot more time as we progress towards the next show, so you got a lot of time, not necessarily filler, because you got to get these matches set, especially with 6 to 8 people in each one. Things I did like specifically, I enjoyed the fact that we'll get Daniel Bryan and Samoa Joe next week. That is another real dream match. He's already had a match against AJ Styles since coming back, and now we get another one here against Samoa Joe on free TV. But hey, you're going to be going to Fox, you're going to need to save some of these matches.
Yeah, I agree. But I'm happy because they really do need to have some really good matches here. I was very impressed with the Braun Strowman Finn Balor match, and I was equally impressed with the Daniel Bryan Jeff Hardy match. I am so looking forward to next week with Daniel Bryan Samoa Joe, and I hope they don't screw it up.
I agree there.
It's like, I believe this is the first match they'll have since 2006 or something like that. It's been a long time.
It's been a long time, and since then, I mean, Joe built a career for himself, and so did Daniel Bryan in 2 separate companies, and now somehow, some way, they're all here, and here we go.
Yeah, and it's gonna be fun. I thought the shows were okay. I didn't get big into them. I really enjoyed Lana defeating Billie Kay after them making fun of it. I thought the whole Lana Day sign was hilarious from Aiden English, and I enjoyed that they were able to give her that moment. I'm looking forward to seeing if she can actually improve in the Money in the Bank match. She hasn't wrestled for quite a long time, at least on TV. She's been doing a lot of loops on the house shows, which is good. I'm glad they didn't give up on her because it looked like they were about to for a while, so I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the Dolph Ziggler Chad Gable match. I thought that was really good. I like where they're going with Dolph Ziggler. They're finally using him in a way that makes him fun to watch, and I'm happy about that too. So overall, I thought they were good shows. There was some terrible stuff. The Sammy Lashley sisters segment was awful. The whole contract signing with Nia Jax and Ronda Rousey, it got better than what we've had from those two before, but even that wasn't very fun to watch. It was almost
it's not really saying much.
No, I'm not getting into that at all, and that's kind of sad, but it is what it is. I wish they would stop with the jobber matches. I got it with the whole Bludgeon Brothers thing when they did that. That made some sense to kind of get them over.
And with Braun. And with Braun whenever he came in. But again,
that's true.
Different territory here.
Yeah, but the Andre Cien Almas, it's kind of like you want to see him go up against some of the stars on the show, and all they're giving you is these local no-names, which is great for the local guy, but it just does nothing for TV because you know what's going to happen. So
that's true. Now, he is not in the Money in the Bank match, though. They got a lot of the top guys. No new guys, really. I think it would be interesting if they had him, instead of beating these guys, maybe earn a spot in the Money in the Bank match to freshen up, but I don't know how likely that is.
It doesn't seem like it's very likely. I would agree with that, though. I think that they should have him somehow get into a qualifier and get in there, but it doesn't look like that's how they're going to introduce him here. And I don't know if they're just trying to save his loss for something else and not have him lose at Money in the Bank, but you need to put some fresh blood in there. I do like the lineup so far. I think we've got a good mix of people in there, but I do think we're going to need some name that everybody's going to get excited for when they win, if they're not going to go Braun Strowman. I really hope they go Braun Strowman.
Either that or Daniel Bryan. Depends on what might go on there.
Yeah, I just don't see Daniel Bryan doing it this quickly. To me, it comes down to, if I had to choose between who's in it right now, I would want to see either Braun win it or have Rusev win it, because people want Rusev, and why not give him that and have him have meaning on the show, you know?
That's true.
So,
I agree with that.
We'll see how it goes. We'll just have to wait and get it down, get it over with. But I'm kind of curious. We saw at the first a week after the last pay-per-view Backlash, the whole tag team thing going on, where tag teams were talking about Money in the Bank, and they haven't done anything with it since. So I'm kind of curious if they dropped that or not.
I'm curious if they dropped it, or maybe it was just a rumor sparked up. We really don't know for sure. But, I guess 2 is all they thought was good enough for this pay-per-view. And now the other thing is, recently have been announced that all pay-per-views going forward will be 4 hours. And additionally, the longer ones that are already 4 will be like 5. So it wouldn't have been surprising if they added another a tag team ladder match, because time doesn't matter. They put as many matches as they want on the cards now.
Yeah, you bring up a good point. News kind of broke that WWE had been reaching out to the providers, the pay-per-view providers, to let them know in other countries that they are going to be, number one, moving the shows up to start 1 hour earlier than normal, and have a potential to go 4 hours. Not necessarily to go 4 hours, but have a potential to go 4 hours. That's an interesting move. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I mean, I think for people on the East Coast, that's great, because you're looking at a 7 o'clock start and being done by 11 instead of midnight, which would really suck. But if you're looking at the Pacific Coast, now you're starting the pay-per-views at 4 p.m. in the afternoon. I'm not sure how good of an idea that is.
Yeah, I don't know either. I mean, I personally wouldn't mind it if I lived out there, but I don't. So I don't mind the 7 o'clock.
Yeah, it got late after a while there. I remember when we're watching just a regular standard pay-per-view, and it's going to 11 o'clock my time, thinking, gosh, if I'm on the East Coast, I'm ticked right now. It's a Sunday night. I got to work in the morning, and it's almost midnight, and the show's still going. So I think they made the right move for East Coast and even Central Time. I mean, now I'm looking at getting done by 9:30, 10 o'clock latest. I have no problem with that. But, you got to basically scrap all your Sunday plans if you want to catch a pay-per-view and you're in California. It seems
That's
odd.
true.
Seems odd. But that's an interesting point. I look forward to seeing how many of these pay-per-views end up going 4 hours. I don't think they're all going to, but I'd like the idea that they can go an extra 10 or 15 minutes off the 3-hour format and not worry about it. And if it's a big time thing and maybe a match goes a little long, they have leeway to go an extra half hour, which I think is fabulous too. So I like the move myself.
Yeah, I don't mind it.
Yeah. All right. Any other comments on Raw or SmackDown?
Nothing I can fully get out there. Nakamura Styles. We talked about what the match could be, and I think we did mention that the Last Man Standing could be one of the ones that they go for. But once again, as we mentioned before, it could easily just be a double count at 10, and they both are counted out, and no one wins. And I also find that interesting. I read today that they changed the Tommaso Ciampa Gargano match for this upcoming takeover in Chicago to a street fight, and because initially it was a last man standing match, but because Nakamura Styles got this billing now, they're changing it to not have two of the same match the same weekend.
That's interesting. I didn't know that, actually. I knew that they had announced the street fight on their YouTube channel or whatever it was. I didn't know that was the reason. I think that's hilarious. Now, last man standing match, I have bad feelings about this. I have a feeling that neither man are going to be able to reach the 10 count, which will totally ruin that match again. The only thing you can do at this point in time is a ladder match where someone has to climb and get the belt. To me, that's the only match you can do with the way they've been doing these things. Unfortunately, we're stuck up against a Money in the Bank pay-per-view, and you can't put 17 ladder matches on the show. So I understand why they couldn't do that. But I wish they would have just held off and waited for Extreme Rules and done this and done a ladder match.
Yeah, I would have liked that too, considering I'll be there.
Yeah, well, you still may get it, because I have a feeling
we're
not.
They might do that instead of TLC. That's a good point.
Even at TLC, that would be fine too, because again, you have to climb the ladder and get the belt. There has to be a winner. You can't screw that up, right?
Well, I only mentioned, well, you can. James Ellsworth proved that. They redid a whole match because of that. But the fact that